Hello and welcome to episode 37 of Tom's Hirschsprung's podcast. I've got something a little bit different for you today, all about stomas and how to take care of stomas and products you can use to take care of stomas. And joining me today is the COO of Ostique, Toni Schneider. Toni, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure and honor to be here.
Oh no, you're very, very welcome. Thank you so much for coming along. And as I mentioned in the intro, you are the COO of Ostique. I never quite understand what COO stands for. Could you just
My husband thinks this is a coup. It's Chief Operations Officer, but essentially my role is to kind of operationally run the business. But we're a small team, so we kind of everybody mucks in and does a bit of everything. But yes, that's the official role.
the official one? Fantastic. And just on Ostique itself, for people who are unaware of Ostique's existence, would you like to give me just a little bit of sort of background on how it started between sort of the three founders and how it went from there?
Amazing, absolutely. So Stephanie Monty, who is our founder, her brothers have Crohn's disease. And for any of your listeners who don't know what that is inflammatory bowel disease, and often a common prelude to needing stoma surgery, alongside things like ulcerative colitis, trauma, cancers, etc., etc. And at the time, she was also at Brunel University studying design engineering, and it's really her personal and professional life collided because when one of her brothers, younger brothers, was faced with the prospect of having stoma surgery, as the family, they didn't really know what that meant, what that would be, how that would change his life, etc., etc. And when Stephanie started looking at what kind of products were available, she very quickly noticed that there were a number of products, but actually they all kind of looked and did the same. And there was this repeated, I would say, unmet need that people were talking about, whether it was about leakage or odor control or how these bags were making people feel. And as I said, that personal and professional life collided. And so Ostique was born. And having stoma surgery impacts 1 in 500 people worldwide. And it cuts across every demographic, age, religion, ethnicity, and background. So very quickly you realize that this could be anybody. And so as a mission, as kind of our North Star, Ostique is transforming the lives of people with chronic bowel disease through innovative products and the power of shared experiences. And I'm sure we'll talk about kind of all of our offerings shortly, but ultimately our intention is to restore dignity and improve patients' quality of life in any way that we possibly can. And then I joined Stephanie. Stephanie and I went to school together, and as did Olivia. All three of us went to school together, so we've all known each other forever. I'd followed Stephanie's journey with Ostique, and she'd won an Innovate UK grant and secured some investment. So that's when I joined. But prior to that, I was a solicitor. I was a lawyer, and I'd worked as a divorce lawyer and then in-house at a TV production company, making shows like MasterChef, The Island, Hunted. So like a real kind of different background. But Stephanie and I were are very yin and yang, and I fully believe in the mission and what we're trying to do. So it was an easy decision for me to hang up my lawyer boots and join Stephanie. And that was at the back end of 2018, beginning of 2019. And then after haranguing Olivia for a few years, because she is the best thing since sliced bread, and from a marketing and kind of creative perspective, managed to persuade her to come on board as well. And I think that's really transformed Ostique in the way and how we want to be seen in the community and what we want to do for the community. Sorry, rambled on there. That's Ostique. That's us.
No, that's absolutely fine. You go along as you please. Generally, the less I say, the better. In terms of podcasts, the less I have to talk, the better it is. You mentioned with you and Stephanie that you were yin and yang. What do you mean by that?
I mean, well, Stephanie is definitely the creative. She's very much, product focused and into kind of the big grand ideas. And I'm more about the making it happen from an organizational perspective and making sure that we can make that vision come true by doing the boring stuff like the legals, like the finance, like those kind of things that aren't as creative and glam but are totally necessary when you're running a business. And we complement each other with our skill set. Where I think that comes not just actual the work itself, but just as people, that whenever I'm feeling stressed, she kind of helps me simmer down, and vice versa. We kind of can really rely on each other. And working with friends is always, I would say, is always difficult, always challenging. But I think the one thing, the real truth of it is trust, and that is in and of itself such a wonderful thing to be able to have with your business partner, that you absolutely trust them and that that you are both, the same vision, the same goal, you're totally aligned, and you've always got each other's back. And that's been an absolute wonder to be able to work together. And the same with Olivia. I'm very, very lucky that I get to work with my friends, and that we can see the business flourish, but also support and champion each other, and just and trust one another.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. It's always great when you can find a job that you love, that you can work with friends, that you trust each other, and I guess it's the sort of saying, isn't it, where, if you enjoy what you do, you don't work a day in your life. You end up, working with friends and going to work, and going to work as such in inverted commas is a joy, which is fantastic. I'm so pleased for all of you that you've managed to find that and founded the fantastic Ostique group.
It's still hard work, though. I will say
Oh,
that
yeah,
it's
yeah,
still super duper hard.
yeah.
But yes, you're absolutely right.
No, not insinuating you just go to work and party for 8 hours. So I'm sure I'm sure it's as we'll mention in a bit, that there is a lot of hard work, a lot of product IP stuff that go into that, and a lot of things that you're involved, certainly from a legal perspective. So yes, so anybody who thinks that Ostique just go to work and party for 8 hours, they don't. They actually do. They do a lot of hard
We
work.
work very, very hard.
But one of the reasons also I wanted to chat to you, in terms of stomas, is because I see a lot of products around that weren't around when I had my stoma. So for anybody who doesn't know, I had a stoma for about 14 years, from the age of 9 to 23. I'm now 32. So a lot of these products are coming out now, um, and there's so many sort of great designs, and like you mentioned with the sporting side of it, was sort of all of the inspiration around the products taken from Stephanie, or was it taken from sort of market research with other people that you spoke to?
So, a really great question. And I mean, Stephanie probably would be slightly better placed to answer that specifically. However, um, I will say the idea with Stephanie and the intention is, as I said, to improve quality of life and to bring to market a product that was both functionally superior but also aesthetically beautiful. And how that has transformed over the years, because what starts as an idea, then when you start to actually see that come to fruition, it often evolves and changes. whether that's due to commerciality, restrictions, all sorts of things. And being a medical device company, we're subject to regulation. So ISO 13485, CE marking, UKCA marking. So there are lots of things that we need to comply with. And often all of that combined will see the products kind of evolve in and of themselves. But it was very intentional that we would produce something that was better, and not just a little bit better, that really took into account users' needs. And so it was both Stephanie's intention to come with a better product, but through all of the market research, through a huge amount of focus group work that we would do with patients, with nurses, with family members, because it doesn't, having stoma surgery obviously is a huge impact on the individual. But I think a lot of the stuff that we had seen and all that we do is it can impact an entire family, because everybody wants to help and get involved and do. So it's making sure that we were always kind of ears and eyes open to getting as much feedback as we possibly could, to then come to market with something really useful. You know, at the time we were doing a lot of work with Bowel Research UK. And so a number of our focus groups were with patients and users. So that also really helped direct the direction of travel with our products. And it's really important that we don't think for people, you know, and there's so many amazing nuggets of information that you get just by listening. You know, a lot of ostomates will say, because we in the beginning thought, you know, how much output could a bag take, and really kind of you kind of get stuck in these spaces. And a lot of people say, well, you just do the tap test, or you can feel it, and it's, you only really know that if you are kind of in the thick of it. So absolutely working with those people who are living with stomas has had a huge impact on the direction of which we've designed our products and services.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And we'll move on to those as well in a bit. And that's one of the other reasons why I was quite keen to have you on. And when I came across Ostique, is the fact that you are very people focused, as you just mentioned. And that definitely aligns with what I've done my entire career, whether it be in teaching, coaching, or what I do now in sports development. It's all about working with people and trying to get the best for people, whether it be stoma bags, whether it be different products or whatnot. And in terms of products as well, I'd like to talk a little bit about the app that you have, which again is something I haven't seen anywhere else really. Would you like to? You can probably explain it a lot better than I can, about the Ostique Connect app.
Absolutely. And the Ostique Connect app is something which was really kind of something Team Ostique had always had in mind, but was really Olivia's baby. And really, Ostique Connect was born from listening to the community. And that really is the antithesis of who we are, that we really heard that a lot of people felt very isolated and alone, and that you know, a 19-year-old guy facing stoma surgery or living with a stoma from having IBD, their experience, what they have coming up in their life, is very different to a 65-year-old woman who is a cancer survivor. And again, the chances of people who living with stomas meeting one another is very difficult in and of itself. And then to find somebody who's actually had a similar lived experience to help you and to kind of be real comrades is even harder. And that's not helped by GDPR issues, where, you know, nurses and hospitals aren't able to share that kind of information with other patients. And equally, yes, support groups exist online, but they can sometimes, not always, be sometimes quite negative spaces, or sometimes people feel that they can't necessarily say what they want because it's in these bigger groups, and so and so what we really saw is that there was a real opportunity to be able to connect people sort of peer to peer and provide support through a platform which, with the intention to combat loneliness and isolation, but also just to kind of, pardon my French, just shoot the shit together and help one another. And as I said, in a really tailored and specific way. So Ostique Connect, the long rambling over, it's the first digital support platform to intelligently connect people that have been down a similar path. And it's been designed to support someone through their lifetime as an ostomate. So whether that's where they're facing surgery or it's a prospect that they might have surgery during their time as an ostomate, and even if they are considering stoma reversal surgery and, life after with having had a stoma. And users can simply update their preferences whenever they like, and they'll be matched with other people in that kind of similar space. It provides invaluable personalized access to support, advice, and friendship. And we also offer lots of other things on the app. So there's a forum so that you can get more opinions from other people if you want. You'll have access to all of our blogs. You have access to our own podcast, Chatting Shit with Ostique. So it was born to really foster meaningful relationships that otherwise couldn't be found.
Fantastic. That's excuse me. That's really interesting that and I'll pick up on one point you said there, that it's not just for people who are facing stoma surgery or have had stoma surgery, but also for people like me who've had stoma reversal as well. And then because I was doing a podcast the other day with somebody who's going in for stoma reversal, and they wanted to know, what my life was like after stoma reversal. But it's interesting that you have people on there who've had that as well, so you can sort of not necessarily sort of come out the other side, because it doesn't really work like a timeline or a circle or anything like that. Some people have stomas and don't have them reversed out of choice. Some people have to, and whatever. But I find it interesting that there are stoma reversals on there. And the other part that I really like is that there are, and apart from obviously the support that it gives one another, is that there are lots of blogs on there as well. There's lots of people's stories about how they've done this and that, and there's also a great variety as well. So do they kind of come to you and say, I want to do a blog, or do you contact them, or how does that work?
It's a real mix. For the blog's perspective, it's a
Yes,
real mix,
yes.
and having that variety is very intentional. Um, as I said, the reasons why somebody may need stoma surgery are aplenty, and and every individual, every human, we are all individual. We should not all be lumped together as, well, you've got a stoma, therefore, you're I say in inverted commas just an ostomate. That's not right. That's not true. And as I said, somebody's reason for having it can be very different. How somebody feels about their stoma can be very, very different. Somebody might look at their stoma and, it's given them a new lease of life where they've been in chronic pain. Other people might dislike it entirely, even though it's been life-saving. And as I said, a lot of the things that we do with our blogs is make sure that we are encapsulating everybody on trying to be as inclusive as possible. I mean, today on our Instagram, we've been posting about PPG. We've done stuff on Hirschsprung's disease. We've done Crohn's, we've done colitis, we've done cancers. We try, and also talking about urostomates, because a lot of the time urostomates can sometimes feel very isolated and alone, because they are, a lesser population within the stoma world. So for us, it's really important that we are as inclusive as we can be. Some people reach out to us and say, I'd love to be able to share my story, and in which case we do. And others, we try and reach out to them if we think they'd be great. But Ostique is about uplifting the community and shining a light on as many people and as many differences as well as similarities as we can.
Definitely. And that was another reason I wanted you on as well, because if you take a look at the Instagram, you take a look at the website, any social media that you do, it's very positive. It's very, yes, you might have a stone and you might not like it or whatever, but you can still do this and you can still do that, and you have, and we'll talk in a moment about the different products that you have, but you have specific ones for exercise or marathon running or whatever it might be, and I think that's fantastic. I'd like to, if I may, just switch gears a little bit and talk about your team. I know you've mentioned um, three members of your team. I'd like to mention or talk about one very special member of your team, if I may, who's Ralph. Would you like to mention about Ralph?
Ralphie, our morale officer. Um, do you know this Ralphie is my family dog, and if you go on our website ostique.co.uk and meet the team, you will see Ralph, our morale officer. He's very, very handsome. This he actually the idea of this came from, we were working with a company in South Africa, and they had a head of joy, head of happiness. And his sole job within the company was to promote happiness and joy. And it was something that Stephanie and I absolutely loved. And I'm dog mad. I am dog mad. I love dogs. I really love dogs. I'm a real dog person, and Ralphie is my family dog. And just just again injecting a bit of humor and a sprinkling of joy. And I think, and hopefully, as you very kindly mentioned, that hopefully does come across in all of the things that we try to do. It's all quite serious stuff, but we try to do it with a touch of humor, a touch of joy, and try and bring some positivity to something that can often be not that joyful. I will say in brackets, earlier this year I got my own dog called Ronnie. And I could never swap Ralphie out. So Ronnie is his deputy. He may or may not feature on the website, but Ronnie is a cockapoo who is 10 months old and is the love of my life, and my husband is aware of that. And Ralphie is still my number one boy. I'm looking at the photo now. He's just so cute. But you also have a doggy. You're also a little bit dog mad.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Teddy. Teddy is the dog that I look after, and she's 8. She's a sprocker. Again, ball mad. She is also my running partner as well. I take her on something called Canicross, that is about where we meet up. We're part of a Canicross group. We meet up once a week and take our dogs running. There's sort of about 7, 8, 9 of us, whoever turns up, really. But yes, Teddy's discovered running in the last couple of years, and absolutely loves it. I wasn't sure how she'd get on when I started, but she loves it. Unfortunately, she likes to just do the same route each time. So I don't know whether she's a little bit autistic or whatever it might be. I don't know, but she does like the same route each time. So I'm trying to introduce her to new routes. But no, she loves it, and she's also, in a similar way to Roddy, she's absolutely ball mad as well. She is never without a tennis ball, and she'll always collect them in the garden and then just put them all in the same space. So at least she's got like 8 at a time. So if she ever loses one or one breaks, she's always got like a huge stash of them. Is Ronnie
Love
similar, or
that.
does Ronnie have a specific ball?
He loves a tennis ball. He goes nuts when the tennis balls are out. We did steal a ball from one of my nephews, which is a squeaky ball that lights up, which is a little bit spiky, which he also loves. He likes to have that one relatively close by to him. But I mean, he's not fussy. Any ball, he'll run and bring, but he brings it back. We were actually talking today to somebody out on the field. All good things about Ronnie are really his kind of in his nature, as opposed to things we have done. He's just, yeah, he's a really, really good boy, and he loves to play ball. He just loves to play. He's very friendly. He thinks everybody's his friend,
Oh,
including Ralphie. He's now bigger than Ralph. He was smaller. So, but no, Ralphie is our morale officer. And if nothing else, it's to make people smile.
do they get on, Ralph and Roddy?
They don't not get on. They get on a little bit too well, in the sense of, in the beginning, Ralphie was a little bit enamored with Ronnie, but they're kind of constant. So my mum is less willing to have Ronnie boy, which is really annoying, because that was one of the reasons that we'll get a dog, and if we need to go away or do something, I'll just drop him at my parents'. That has not happened. So mum, if you're listening, I'm very upset about it. But they do get on. They're very good dogs. They're very, very good dogs.
Fantastic. And I know he's over the website as well. And a lovely picture, if I may say so. A lovely picture of Ralph. And I've tended to find a lot. I've been doing quite a bit of just experimenting on Instagram, and every time I post a picture of Teddy, it gets way more likes than if I do a picture about any kind of work stuff. So if you now see a picture of any kind of podcast stuff and then a picture of Teddy next to it, it's to get you to click on the podcast stuff, not the
Good
Teddy
to
stuff.
know.
So
Good
yeah,
to
so
know.
yes, so I've been doing a bit of experimenting. So if you've seen lots of dog pictures recently, that's why I've been doing that, just to get people to look and hopefully click and listen to the podcast. But I'd like to also, I know we mentioned the Ostique app, and we mentioned very briefly at the start about different products that you have.
Mhm.
Um, and I'd like to mention also a little bit more about the skins, because I know we sort of briefly touched on it. But there's a lot of points that I think I've seen which are quite different to other bags or other bag products. The fact that it's also waterproof as well. So you can you take it swimming and etc.
So, Ostique Connect, the app, available on Android and iOS, and all the
Yep.
links and stuff of how to get there is on our Instagram and on our website. What's also on the website is the Ostique skins. Now, they are revolutionary ostomy bag covers, as opposed to, we have a range of stoma bag as well, the Innova Solo range, which we can talk about. But the skins themselves are stoma bag covers, and they are compatible with the majority of colostomy and ileostomy bag brands. And we've got space on the website that if you want to check if it will fit with the type of bag that somebody is using, you can just email us. We've also got measurements on there of the size of the skins. And you're right, our skins are really unique. They come in a range of colors, including skin tones. They are vegan and environmentally friendly, the material themselves. The material is so beautiful, luxurious, and soft. It's washable and reusable, whether that's through a hand wash or a gentle wash through the washing machine and then chucking it in the tumble dryer. The skins are waterproof. They are sweat proof. They have a pocket at the bottom so that you can tuck your bag, whether it's a drainable or closed, you can tuck the bag into that pocket at the bottom. And that has been amazing for people who, as you say, who do like sports, or just generally because it stops all the scratching and getting in the way. We had somebody who was a marathon runner who said this was absolutely game changing because her legs were being sliced from the edges of her bag, and this completely stopped that. And it's also got an opening at the bottom, so if you have a drainable bag and you're wearing a skin, you don't need to take it off. You can just empty and drain from your stoma bag and then roll it back up and put it back in the pocket. So they are really different. They are really easy to use. And again, we try and be as environmentally friendly where we can, and they're vegan material. And we offer a few different things where we have bundles. So you've got the introductory bundle, an essentials bundle, a workout bundle, and an intimacy bundle. And bundles are 3 skins, which you purchase directly from the website. They're $43.99, or you can buy individual skins, which are $16.99. And again, they're really what we hope is something that makes something feel luxurious. Somebody described it as like a Louis Vuitton handbag for her stoma bag, because it really is premium in its feel and its quality. And again, we try and give back something that ultimately makes people feel better and empowered, whether they're looking for the ultimate discretion and that, with the skin tone, or something more bold, bright and beautiful to match swimwear or a workout outfit, or just because that's really what the skins are there for.
Absolutely. No, I think it's fantastic, and just a range of things that come with it and how you can use it, and obviously the environmentally friendly is a big one for me. I really like that as well. And another thing that you can purchase on the website is an Ostique gift card.
Yes.
And I'd like to talk, if I may, a little bit about Colostomy UK and your partnership with them, because if you do purchase a gift card, 50% of the proceeds goes to Ileostomy and Internal Pouch
That's
Association.
that's not the gift cards, that's our thoughtful card range.
Thoughtful card. Sorry. Yes.
So we have a card range with thoughtful, and if for any of your listeners who don't know what thoughtful is, it's like Moonpig but a little bit naughtier. I really like the thoughtful cards, and yes, so we have a range of stoma cards available to purchase from Thoughtful, and we give 50% of the proceeds to Colostomy UK and Ileostomy UK, the Ileostomy Association. And our cards are intentional to be inclusive, and that they really came about. We did a photo shoot for the skins, and it was one of our models' stomaversaries. And we searched far and wide to be able to get a stomaversary card, and you just couldn't. There was nothing representing stomas or chronic illness or anything of that ilk. So we thought, okay, we'll make that happen, and so we did.
Fantastic. No, that's fantastic. But again, that kind of speaks to what we said at the start, where you see a gap in the market and you just go for it. And I love that sort of that business way of doing things, where you go, right, okay. And it's the necessity is the mother of invention, in terms of you see an issue, you see a problem or something that needs fixing, or something that isn't there that could make people's lives better, and you go for it. And I really love that sort of that business way of doing things. I think it's absolutely fantastic. But there are a range of, as you said, a range of products that you can buy on the website. I'd like to also just talk a little bit about, because there's not just products on your website and blogs and support groups that we've talked about, but there's one thing in particular, when there's a YouTube video on there about how to change an ostomy bag. So there's sort of instructional videos on there as well. So was that sort of the idea for the website, as well as just being sort of a shop and blogs and support groups? You'd have sort of instructional videos. I think you've got a glossary on there as well. You'd sort of go through um, all manner of things like what's ulcerative colitis and etc. etc. Was that also an idea for the website as well?
Absolutely. So there's a resource section for anybody and anybody, really, whether you are a person living with a stoma or a family member or whatever the case may be. There are a lot of terms that people don't know, and so much of what we are trying to do is really to break down the poo taboo and to be able to educate everybody as to invisible disabilities and what life is like living with a stoma. And it's really important that we're not just kind of in our echo chambers talking to ourselves, but actually we're doing our best to reach audiences far and wide. And, you know, we see that there's, you know, with Louise Thompson and Adele Roberts and Tracy Emin, you know, so much now is being done to really shine a light on these kind of issues, but absolutely being able to provide resources to help the community more generally is really important. And, you know, we have our own stoma bags as well, the Inova Solo range. And they are, currently a flat one-piece closed and a one-piece drainable. And they themselves come with a whole number of USPs that have really been designed and developed by listening to patients and to really focus on unmet needs. So we have our base plate, which somebody might call a wafer, is a patented novel shape, which uses kind of a multi-adhesive to really improve that adhesion to reduce the propensity for leakage, whilst also at the same time providing unparalleled comfort, flexibility and adhesion to really try and maintain skin health and reduce skin complications. Our bag is the world's first silent ostomy bag, and I might, if I may, do a little, I mean, hopefully, or not hopefully, I'm going to do a little experiment where I'm going to show you a traditional bag. Bear with, while I do my social experiment.
I should have made this a video podcast, really.
Well,
We might
this is
release
great.
this as a video.
This is more for sound. So if I'd wonder if you can hear this. That's a traditional bag. Now I'm going to do ours. Hopefully you didn't hear that.
Very barely.
And that is because we have very intentionally brought to market the world's first silent bag. And whilst we totally understand that this is not a medical requirement, hopefully people will see that so much of what we try to do is really approach stoma care holistically, that actually having a bag that doesn't rustle and that it is quiet can really improve somebody's quality of life, reduce anxiety. And it is really important that we look at other factors like that. We also have a high performance filter to prevent unpleasant odors and eliminate gas buildup. So our Nova Solo range is also available, and that will all be kind of on the website as well. But yes, resources, blogs, our podcast, our shop, our kind of a one-stop shop. And also so much of what we try to do is also just give people information. And if, you know, if it's not Ostique products that are good for you, then we'll help you find something that is. You know, the power of choice, what people don't realize is that people living with stoma have the choice as to what bags they want. And if your bag isn't working for you, or you need like a whole bunch of ancillary products to make that bag work for you, you should change your bag. It doesn't need to be to ours, but we also want to be able to educate the community that you deserve dignity and the best. And if something you've got isn't working, then there is more out there. So our website is and everything that we do is really, just as I said, trying to shine a light on these taboo subjects and to do as much as we can to uplift the community.
It's fantastic. That comes back to your people focus, doesn't it? It comes back to
Yeah.
you want the best for people, you want to help people. And again, as I mentioned at the start, if this had been around, when I was 9 years old and had my stoma, I'm sure I'd have had, a bag as well. But I had something called a tegaderm, which I talk to people about, and they don't seem to know what it is. But the best way to describe it would be if you've ever had a tattoo, you have sort of that cling film, sticky cling film material around the tattoo just to protect it. So I had that over the stoma. I think I'd have far preferred a bag, definitely. And I wish, obviously, don't have the stoma anymore. But if it had been around, I'd have definitely taken one of your bags um, up, because I think they're absolutely fantastic. But every time I mention the word tegaderm to anybody, they've never seen it before, and don't necessarily know what it is. Um, have you heard of Tegaderm before?
I'm being
Or
completely honest, no.
no? No,
I've
no.
just
I'll
written
have
that
to.
down because that's
I'll have
something
to.
we're gonna put something out there about tegaderms then.
I'll send you a photo of what I
Please
used to.
do.
Yeah, of what I used to use to cover the stoma. But yes, it wasn't. I don't think, looking back at it, it was the greatest invention. But it's one of those things, people tell you to do it, and you just do it because you don't know any better. But yeah, so that's what I had. So I
You
had.
could have gone on to Ostique Connect and asked, you could have posted in the forum or asked an individual, have you ever heard of this?
I wish I had. I wish I had. If you'd been around 20 years ago, that would have definitely been something I'd have done. Um, but also, just as we wrap up towards the end, as we record this, it's back end of August. By the time you'll hear, it'll be mid-September. Um, and then World Ostomy Day is coming up on the 5th of October. Now, I know you do sort of a lot of sort of constant posting, and you post about a lot of great things and products. Um, was there anything specifically you were looking at doing for World Ostomy Day, or Ostomy Month, I guess, with being October, um, or was it sort of carrying on the great work that you do already?
It's a bit of a watch this space kind of thing for what we'll actually be putting out on World Ostomy Day. And as you say, we try and celebrate ostomates all year round. But there will be a special video coming out on World Ostomy Day. And yeah, watch this space.
Ooh, exciting, intriguing. That's the best kind of thing, a surprise. So you'll have to wait and see.
Have to
That's
wait and
fantastic.
see. Yes.
Thank you. And just for lastly, again, thank you so much for coming on. And I know we've mentioned the website quite a bit, but where can people find Ostique, find your products, and purchase them?
So as I said, if you go onto your app store, whether you are an Android user or a iPhone user, just type in Ostique Connect, Ostique Connect, and you'll be able to download our app straight from there. Or if you go onto our website, Ostique, ostique.co.uk, all of the resources. So whether you're looking for skins, how to get Ostique Connect, our blogs, everything else, our podcast, it's all linked there. You can find us on all of the different social media platforms, Ostique Limited, Ostique Ltd. Please follow us. And if you want to write a blog or be part of the community, we welcome everybody and anybody. So we're everywhere.
You're everywhere.
We're a click away. Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you. But again, from me, just thank you so much for everything all of your team, including Ralph, does for everybody with ostomates, with stomas, the great products you put out, and the constant raising and awareness that you do. And thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I've really appreciated it. Speak to you soon.